How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing: always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Lucid and as well as for SOFI. Both of these stocks ended up posting green days, but not strong ones, but we have to recognize the fact regardless. We also did see inside of the markets, we have another red day inside of the books. I want to see some momentum pick up, especially as we get closer to the end of the week. I'll talk about it further inside of this video, and just to remind you, if you're new to this channel, we do have timestamps down below inside the description. So let's get into those videos, and then afterwards I'll be giving you guys my final thoughts. So let's take a look at the chart for Lucid. So it ended up closing at $15.34, being up 1.25%. On the low, it tested $14.96, and then on the high, testing $15.52. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 12.959 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 14.374 million shares. So we had below average volume on the day, but we still saw some strength in the stock. When we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, we are continuing to trade below all of our major moving averages, but we can see that Lucid is finding some support here just under $15. It saw a low at $14.96, so for the bulls, you want to see this area continue to hold. If we end up breaking through this area, that's where we can see Lucid wanting to come down to test right here around $14.26. And if it breaks this level, that's where we get right around the 52-week low. So please add that to your notes if you haven't done so already. If you want to see some strength out of this stock, since we did form a higher low, we did not form a higher high, but we still have the opportunity to do that this week. So the level we want to see a break above, of course, is $15.50, and then seeing if Lucid can get to $15.85 to make that move to $16. We also have the 9 EMA around $16.25, so we can have a close by the end of the week around $16.25. It's definitely a good look for the stock going into next week. So that's what the bulls really want to look for out of this play. If we get to this 9 EMA and we end up being rejected, that is definitely not a great sign, and we could see some further pain in the stock as well. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for Lucid. So scrolling down on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So when we take a look at the recent filings we have here for the 30th, we have Relay Capital Management Inc. Of course, this is not a new or closed position, but we can see a value change of them reducing it to 33.33%. We also have Verition Fund Management LLC that closed out their puts, and we also see Verition Fund Management LLC again, which has a value change of negative 10%, so reducing their positions. Now, when we take a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 71.86%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 7.06 million shares. Scrolling down on the page, the short shares availability is at 400,000, updated 14 minutes ago, and then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 7.69%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 29th, it is at 61.12, and then for the close of the 30th, being at 71.86. So that is a significant increase right there. And then when we take a look at the short interest percentage of the float being at 20.86%, Lucid does continue to have short squeeze potential. Let's take a look at SOFI. So it ended up closing at $5.92, being up 0.17%. So it's only up 1 cent. And then when we take a look at the range on the day, it tested a low of $5.87 and then a high of $6.08. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 31.899 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 54.706 million shares. So we had below average volume on the day, and of course we had some consistency, I should say, in the stock. When we take a look at our daily chart, we still continue to trade below all of our major moving averages, which is a 50 EMA to 21 EMA, and as well as for the 9 EMA. You can see where I brought our attention to where we want to see SOFI getting to at 625. We ended up seeing a high today at $6.08. So that is not too far off, and we did have support coming in at 587. So when we take a look at the previous day, we ended up putting up up a higher low. We didn't get a higher high, but we still have the opportunity to make that move to 625, especially since tomorrow's Thursday and then we have Friday. So taking that into consideration, that's what I'm looking for to see from SOFI. Move to 625, see what we can do from there after reclaiming that 9 EMA, which is at 627 to be exact. But if we decide to have a pullback now and we form a lower low than what we had today at 587, then of course I want to see that support coming in right at 580. If we break through 580, that's where we'll come down to 576, which I've talked about previously in the past. And if that level ever decides to end up breaking, we could see SOFI wanting to test $5.15. In my personal opinion, I want to see us make that test back to 6 and make that move into that 620 range. Let's take a look at the short interest. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for SOFI. So scrolling down on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So you can see from the recent filings we have here for the 29th, we have all covered all of them, but for the most recent one, we have FS Multi-Strategy Alternatives Fund class that purchased 1,929 shares. But when we take a look at changes, we have Verition Fund Management LLC, which was for the 30th, and it looks like as far as for the value change, they increased it by 70.92%. So pretty significant there. Now, when we take a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 42.17%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 8.67 million shares. Scrolling down on the page, the short shares availability is at 10 million, updated 12 minutes ago, and then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 1.06%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 29th, it is at 37.59, and then for the close of the 30th, being at 42.17. So that is a significant increase right there. And then when we take a look at the short interest percentage of the float being at 15.19%, SOFI does continue to have short squeeze potential. So for my final thoughts for Lucid and as well as for SOFI, let's start off with Lucid. So we can see that it is building support in that $14.90 range, or $14.94 to be exact. But I'm going to chalk it up and say that, you know what, we are holding support around $15. So what do you want to see? You want to see a move above $15.50 and Lucid getting to $16 by the end of the week. If it is unable to do this, then of course you want to look forward to seeing that move sometime next week. And if it can't, that's where we could see some further pain inside of the stock. Like I said, the key level to really watch is if we break below the 1490s, we can come down to 1426 and then start getting even closer to the 52-week low. So I want to make sure that you add that to your notes, but if you're a bull, you want to see Lucid being able to close by the end of the week above $16. And now, as far as for SOFI, SOFI is holding on fairly well. I know it didn't have a big change overall on the day, but we want to see it gain a lot more momentum above $6. $6.08 isn't enough. So what do I want to see? I want to see SOFI making a move to at least around $6.25. If it can get to $6.25 or even around $6.27, where we currently have the 9 EMA, that would be a good close going into next week. The market has been selling off for about 4 days in a row, and when we take a look at the last time that the market fell off a cliff after getting CPI, that sell-off lasted for 5 days. So I'm looking for some sort of a green day, maybe get a rally sometime this week, whether it's on Thursday or whether it's on Friday. And both of these plays should be able to benefit from that. But of course, this is not financial advice. If you have a strategy and you're using your charts, then you need to stick with a game plan that is right for you. And for all of my investors out there, you already know we're going into the month of September. It comes with a lot of volatility, and it's also known for being the worst month on record for the stock market. So you want to plan accordingly. So it's either you decide to start building out your position now or adding to your position, or waiting until mid to late of the end of the month, and I'm talking about September. And for my traders out there, all you have to do is pay attention to the levels that I talk about in these videos, and you should be able to see some success. But like I said, this is not financial advice. Trade your strategy. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll be seeing you guys in September.